How's everyone doing today? I just had my stream window open. Give me just a moment. Okay, Twitch is up. Deathboy, how's it going? I accidentally closed out of my YouTube live window right before I started it, so let me pull up the rest of the chat here. Sora, Alan, Chris, Geistwolf, Ruin, Fren, Shiner, Mav, Jay, Worfy, Stanky, how's it going? Is this another gift from Kale? No. Uh, I normally like I did I forget to do that for the orchid. Well, when I get to like another video on the Orion stuff, I'll make sure to mention that. How do we get the ship? It is Infinity Lockbox. So I have a ship box. I think on. I'm just trying to remember. No, it's on Epic Creator Code. Hold on. You have the ship building it right now. Nice. I mean, it's literally it's the way you're going to build it out is basically take your legendary Avenger, literally just copy the build over basically one for one, and like it's literally just the legendary Avenger with the Raider flanking. Like that's basically it. So I've got the Damocles, and to be clear, I used my own ship box for this, just so we're clear. Yeah, I also saw a few of you like the commentary I had in that video this morning. How do you get the ship? You wait until next year's event campaign? Oof. Muak, how's it going? Yeah, I believe too that the dev stream, if they're doing one today, should be in about 2 hours. So my intention would be to go for about that long and then raid out to them. Yeah, I mean, I'll try the trade out, but my initial, like, based on the wording that they had in that initial announcement, I don't have high expectations for the trait. Um, I mean, maybe I'll be surprised. I've been surprised by a couple other things recently, but right now, I'm expecting to go in and see rather lackluster performance from that trait. Yeah, hopefully it's doing better. You know, to be clear, I want it to be better. Um, Okay, I'm gonna dry dock the emerald chain here. Now let's pop open the ship. The Calvin. Okay, let's rename that. I tend to name the ships nowadays like what the ship is, just because I deal with so many damn ships that it just makes my life a bit easier. Initial thought on the console's potential before I dig in. Yeah, let me beam up here. I mean, the console, it's basically just, plus 20 power, max power, right? So, I mean, that's good, but the only reason we're thinking of that as, like, being, like, nice is because they haven't unlocked the supplemental subsystems console off of the legendary Galax. So, with us not having an unrestricted version, that makes, even something that's, like, half the value, tempting. Chadwick, I don't know about that. I will say that, any of the instances of that, it wasn't like something that they initiated. That was something like we on the creator side reached out and inquired for. Um, it's Infinity. The price will drop from 1.5, so nobody. Yeah, I mean it is Infinity Lockbox, so the price of this ship will drop a little bit, but I wouldn't expect below like 1.3 for it now. It just that there's so much demand for the Infinity Lockbox ships, and that's the supply is bottlenecked by the fact that the seller has to decide what ship they're going to sell. In an ideal world, we would be able to just sell the choice pack. That would bring the price of all the Infinity Lockbox ships down quite a bit, in my opinion. But because that's not a thing, sellers have to go out and make that decision, and the reality is most people are not going to look at all the options. They're going to default to what they know is good. But yeah, here is the console. And it is once per 2 seconds, not once per 4 for the power drain aspect. I don't think power drain really matters, for your foes. Typically in Stow, it's either you're killing your enemies fast or you're going to take a while. Really depends on your performance level. But yeah, Chadwick again. The Orchid, that was creators reaching out to ask for samples. Why no red shirt? Terrible. Okay, so let's see. This is going to be a big determination for a lot of people as to whether or not this is going to be any good. Basically, when I activate this, can I immediately start to reduce its cooldown with like Uncon and Vovin, or does it show a timer like you would see with DPRM? Let's find out. Okay, so it was about 2 seconds, but then after that, like I could immediately start cooling it down. Like it's immediately, doing the cooldown there, so that's good. Maybe Spencer's in a red shirt and he's got an AI filter to make it bluish. Terrible. By the way, what do you guys think of the thumbnail? Mia, how's it going? I don't like to integrate AI into stuff too terribly much, but I was just trying. I'd signed up for vidIQ for a month just to see what that would do with some of the stuff they have for like auditing your channel and stuff, and the thumbnail you see here, I just took a picture of the Damocles and I was like, remove the background and add a blue glow around the ship. And then I did the rest. It did put the background nebula in, but don't take red Spencer away from us. It's better with the lighting right now because I've got the curtain open, and I mean I was recording that video last night at like 2 a.m. Yeah, I think it was just a coincidence. I understand where you're coming though from with that sort of concern. I get it. Do I have the umbrella thing? The so-called light diffuser? No. Not, or I mean, it's on one of my lights. I got that, but the this webcam here, this Elgato one, I was using it for the top-down setups, and with the lighting over there, it worked fine. But it, as just like a normal webcam, it has just such a red hue to it, unless I have a ton of lighting on me, and that sort of sucks. Like that much lighting to get this camera to not suck isn't no good. Yeah, I mean, lighting is something I do want to improve for my setup, but that's something for another day. I'm gonna run down, just grab some gear here. Black, how's it going? Okay, chat. Here's the question. Actually, I can do this as a poll. let me do that here quick. Start a poll. There, Brian. There we go. I'll do the same thing over on Twitch. You can vote for what type of build you want me to do on this ship. Basically, phaser fire at will, or just like cannon, like crate style setup, like on my mirror angle. Phaser fall. CSV crate. And we'll let that go for like 2 minutes here. Okay. Polls up on YouTube and Twitch. No beam overload. I like good builds. Bridger, how's it going? Well, Tribble would have to be updated to the current version of the game. And I don't know if there was a Tribble patch today. Oh, Fire at Will massively outperforms Beam Overload. It always has. Even before the Thaw buffs last year, like Fire at Will was always ahead of Beam Overload. It's just that Beam Overload was viewed as more desirable for a lot of people. People liked the beam overload for the immersion, but now that Fire at Will's at a 15-second cooldown and we have multiple routes to achieve 100% uptime, like it's really hurt the appeal that beam overload had for people, because you can just do a Fire at Will setup that's going to be much more effective damage wise. Let me just grab the beams here. No, yeah, no pointer's fine. Let's see. Okay, Phaser's like massively winning out, so we're gonna be doing Phaser here. But you know what? While I'm on ground here, let's go look at this thing in the shipyard. So remember the Damocles here is on the crossfield skeleton, and that's a big selling point of the ship. Is if you get this, you're getting a bunch of options here for the crossfield. So, if I look here under hull, you've got Damocles that you're unlocking, Damocles Beta. Damn, that's making it look like a normal Fed ship right there. So, I mean, some of you are going to really like that. Then there's also Gamma. So you're getting a lot of customization here. And then, for Saucer, there's Damocles and Damocles Beta. So if you don't like that open bit on the Saucer there for the crossfield, then this gives you an option to get rid of that. And is there any other options for that? No. So as far as I can see here, that's the only option to actually get rid of that open area. Yeah, this comes with the Damocles and the base crossfield, correct? I've got all of the crossfield variants unlocked on this character, so I can do a bit more. For the neck here. Yeah. And then for the nacelles, there's some long boy nacelles right there. But for the Damocles, there's a Vandy option, of course. So if you want to use a Vandy shield, that'll, retain some of those visuals. Then for the Beta, same thing. And as for what the nacelle difference is between the primary and the beta, it looks like it's just some of the lighting here. Yeah, so you get some additional lighting on the side with the beta. Well, you can, I mean, again, if you don't like that, Damocles beta, there. Now it looks like a more normal Fed ship. Yeah, and if I hit randomize a few times, like there's some interesting combinations that you're gonna see here. Little bit of clipping right there, but like you can really go in and do some weird things with this, which I know some of you are very much going to appreciate. That is barely connected there. Yeah. I think, again, I know it's a lockbox ship. I know it's, going to be expensive, but I think given that we already know this is going to be really good performance wise, it's basically a legendary Avenger with Raider flanking on it. Like, the ship itself is already a top tier performer. Um, Aside from console spam, if you're looking to do the console spam, uncon, Voven stuff, then temp intel is still a preferred combo, but this is still going to do very, very well. But yeah, there's just boatloads of options you can get in here. So many different combinations now. As it proceeds to give me a bunch of random options that now all suddenly look the same. There we go. Something different again. 170 keys and only one T6 for you? Oof. I am sorry to hear. And materials. There's so many materials this has access to. Yeah, again, like I know the default visuals with the deflector above isn't going to appeal to everyone, but again, you can literally just make it go the other way, and now it looks like a standard fed ship with a really small deflector. How many Windows options? I mean, there's a few. So let's go to the side there. Type 0, Type 6, Galaxy, Crossfield Refit, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then, of course, Crossfield. Discovery NX. I was thinking, which do I like the most here? That's pretty cool looking in a way. I just wish there'd be a bit more space there with the pylons. Got a 5-3 crossfield before a 5-3 to Daredex. The console, you can basically start reducing its cooldown right away from the initial bit that I saw. I'll be testing it out more here in a moment. It's just looking at the visuals, because the visuals are a huge selling point for this ship, right? Like, the amount of kit bashing you can do with this is really, really quite something. I'm gonna go there. Hmm. Oh, that's got the gold shine from it because I have the mirror crossfield, so I've got that Terran skin for it. I like it. I like it. Okay, We're gonna go with that. Well, gonna wait 2 years for mods so I can play with the parts. Yeah, that's something that is a little unfortunate, isn't it? Do the walk around. The no, the ship is good. The console plus 20 current and max power for 20 seconds. That looks good. And really the reason we're looking for that is because the legendary Galax console is still bound to that ship. The trait I have very low expectations of, but I will test it out and actually give it an opportunity to see if it can pull its weight. So we'll try that out. But let me build the ship out here first. I could have sworn I already put the gear on it. Is that my Kittimer shield, my warp core, competitive engines, elite colony deflector. There we go. I'm going to just slap the gear on it that I had on my Lexington. So a bunch of phaser beams here. I've got the Terran phaser beam from the Terran rep. Then I've got the 2 phasers off the Con E3. Those are the best phasers in the game, but you're limited to just 2 of them. Then I've just got some crafted damage 3 pens. Especially on a ship like this that doesn't have a hangar bay, those pens are really, really quite desirable. So now I'm going to slap some gear on this ship. This is basically going to be the what you guys have heard me refer to as the ISOCON build approach. This is something that Cheops really was pushing, and it's picked up. I'll be doing a video on it when time allows. That's always the big thing, is when time allows. Okay, deuterium. The no rainbow is pure theme. The weapons layout here, it's 5-3. Okay, let's get this built out though. So this needs to be an intel. Okay, yeah, so I'm gonna do Gravwell 1. Then I'll do OSS 2. Okay. I'm just thinking how I want to do the rest of this here. I'm gonna make this lieutenant also a science. SRO side 2. And I'll give this the standard jam and scramble sensors. For the TAC here, gonna give it beta, of course, and oof. I realized my conundrum here. I need to fit my CSV on. The issue is here, by going with a fire at will setup, with this layout, I have to choose between beta or CSV, and beta is just too damn important. My alternative would be I'd have to drop like an uncon. How much of my... I popped the box earlier on the stream. I got it myself. I got this ship on my own. I used my own resources. Yeah. Because I've got the Merc Worker here especially, I'm going to do that. SRO TAC 2 is going to go back. I'm just thinking, is there any other way I can move this around? I don't really want to drop the OSS down, but if I dropped the OSS down to rank 1 and swapped the TAC and Psi around, that'd give me an uncon back, but I'm just going to go with one less uncon for this one. Have they updated Tribble yet for the Damocles? Not that I'm aware. Yeah, I know. I know. But I want to have my Federation mission scout ships, which are such an amazing engineering ability. Legitimately, it sounds like I'm memeing there, but I promise they legitimately are good. Okay. CSV. I guess I'll have a chemo on. There we go. Now I need to set the tray up. I will fly the ship. It just it takes a smidge of time to get everything set up, as you are all very well aware. To level the ship up, I'll be just doing an Argala. An Argala Elite. One pass of that will be all it takes. Okay, there's Trafalgar. Let's get adaptive on there too. Albina. Yeah, Chiaps, if you manage to get a video done on that before me, that'd be pretty rough. I am pretty slow with videos. I'll admit sometimes that especially in the past year with just everything going on, there have been periods of time where it's just been rough. It's been a bit rough to try and get things done. I'd like to change that up a bit, but some things are out of my control. Okay, anti-time. Alpha. Biomolecular shield. I will remember to put evasive on the tray this time. I think when I was doing the Orchid this weekend, I once again managed to forget about that. Gravwell. Get that on. Gotta get me my narrow sensor bands. Null pointer flood's going to be on spam bar because that's going to be an uncon. Let's see here. Watts, how's it going? Federation mission scout ship is a commander range ability that we got. It was from a First Contact Day event a while back, and like it's probably like the best like commander inge ability right now for damage. But they did buff it up post launch, so it's actually pretty good. The amount of debuff it can stack on a bigger target is crazy. Been wondering for a while, what are those blue battery, engine, and shield icons from? Tray 2 from the left. Those are from the Ilios console, custom power matrix. Yeah, Singa. I sometimes I like to just have that visual cue of this is a build, that this ability is available for me to hit. I like to have that sometimes. I understand though what you're getting at, that don't always need it. But sometimes I need that little bit of a visual cue to help me get it done. Okay, Intel fleet, there we go. Save loadout. My traits remained the same because I was already in the Lexington with this setup, so save, and I'll save it again. Let's get the combat log going. Let's get Oscar up. I am looking, by the way, at setting up a dedicated Linux box for Stowe content creation. As I discussed on the Linux stream a week or so back, I do have a secondary machine that I've been using to play around with Linux, but that is doing some production related stuff for me, and that machine's already serving a purpose, and if I want something, you know, specifically for Stowe. I just need to put something new together. Did I do the traits? They were the ones I already had equipped. So, Good Day to Die, Adaptive Offensive, you know, Fireball Escape, Fleet Coordinator, Duelist Fervor, Green Shield Tunneling. Sorry, I'm going the wrong way here. Yeah, Fragment of AI Tech, Intel Handler, Turn Targeting, Twinkling, Uncon, Starship Traits. Oh, damn it. Cheops, this is why you're here. You're here to point out when I'm doing something stupid. Dan, thank you for the bits. Greatly appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Cheops. What would we do without you? Okay. How long do we have left on the crystalline event? I was hoping I'd be able to squeeze another run in for dilithium, but like an hour and a half short, unfortunate. Okay, patrols. Argala Elite, here we go. Am I pleased with the state of the scramble market? If it's still under 300 mil, then no, because I popped open 4 at the beginning of May, and I have them all sitting in my bank, waiting for the days of 5 to 600 mil scramble to return. Rob, how's it going? Rabbit, no snowflake for me. I know, truly terrible. But yeah, back to the Linux stuff. Basically, I just am gonna see about putting together a fully separate dedicated build for like just doing Stowe Linux stuff. Doing some guides, you know, on how to set Stowe up over there. There's still some stuff I need to figure out, so it'll hopefully be an interesting project for myself and for many of you who are keen to get away from Windows. Dan, thank you for the super chat. Some noobs were going at it like crazy, undercutting each other all the way down to like 250 mil. That's one thing is there's a lot of people that get involved with the market and they are extremely impatient. Okay, so the Damocles console has a long activation time, about 2 seconds it looks like, so keep that in mind.
Sensors are picking up small habitations from the atmosphere, possibly consistent with mold.
You know, damage on this is pretty good.
We do what we want, where we want. Picked up a tight beam transmission on a new frequency. We're jamming that spectrum of their comms now, but it was probably a call for assistance. I'm taking you with me. That's got it. Excellent work. We'll send
Please read the body of it, please.
Take the suspect into custody.
Please read my note here. For my gift, can you do me a favor? I suggest you stream to others on my page. Could you add mine to yours as well? It would be greatly appreciated. Yeah, did your Twitch one? The 2 seconds killed it for you? Yeah. Yeah, so I can go in here and yeah, you can see 2 second activation time. So they release another console with activation time after that feedback thread. It seems like nothing is going to happen from that thread then. Yeah, that's a little disappointing. That is like, you know, this is basically just a legendary Avenger on the crossfield skeleton. You know, some new kit bash options for the crossfield. The console on it was something, you know, that did look interesting, but the fact that it's got a 2 second activation time is a little bit Disappointing. Yeah, the power buff is good, don't get me wrong, but because of that activation time, like this isn't a console that we could use on like a high-end crate setup because we already have too many consoles with an activation time. Um like I can't afford to put a console like this on my uncon setup, my main one, when I've already got, like 2 seconds from the dilithium transporter console. Like if I want to, chain those back to back, we're talking about 2 seconds of combat where I'm not able to potentially fire my weapons because of the activation time off the Credence console, and now another 2 seconds for this one. Like that, I've already tried that with the NP. I think it was the NP console, the one that was the escort, um, from the 16th, the one that had the big crit chance and severity buffs on it. The reason that's not being used more is because of the activation time. So that persisting here is, or that being a thing here again, especially after they've been given feedback about that being perceived as negative by people, is really quite disappointing. Thank you, Cheops. Appreciate that. Yeah, just add this console right away. Absolutely. Like, I can tell you, like that is going to impact my thoughts on further coverage of the ship with it like that, because the people that would be interested in this, aside from it being a crossfield, aside from the kit bashing options and it being a slightly power crept legendary Avenger, like the console was something people were interested in, and even though it's the buffs from it are good, the question is it going to be worth giving up another 2 seconds on top of what we're already giving up with the other consoles we like to use? Now, I don't have dilithium transporter off the Credence on this specific build, but on my main damage setup, so that is something I very commonly use. 999. So one more point here, and I'll be at 4 digits. Okay. Now I know you guys want to see Infected the Conduit Elite. Neo, it's on the Crossfield skeleton, so it gets access to whatever other Crossfield skins you have. It does come with the main Crossfield skin if you don't already have that. Infected normal? No, you don't. Because the normal is so absurdly easy, it's not even fun. Like, advanced is already, like, really stupidly easy. That's also... Have I looked at the Starship trait? Tell you what, I will put it on here. Just so I remember it. The name of it, what was it here? Provoked hostilities. We're going to try it out. Just, on a run. I'll use it instead of Hellbore, because Hellbore doesn't really do that much in Infected anyways, in most cases. Provoked hostilities. There we go. Debating between this ship or a secondary Trafalgar, to be honest. I would say, if it was me, I would probably go for the, like, if the other character you're wanting to put that Trafalgar on is one that you have, put other ships on and you're trying to bring it up, then just drop a Trafalgar on it. Look, I'm aware, Cheops, but what else am I supposed to give up? What do you want me to give up? Inertial supremacy? I mean, we are doing... I'll tell you what. We got other people bringing debuff in. I will drop inertial supremacy, and it's just for you, Cheops. We will keep the Hellbore light on. And I will hope that my teammates are bringing in an overwhelming amount of Type 7s. Logical. That news video earlier was certainly provoking hostilities. I know. I don't think there's a single carrier in here. But we're still going to commit. Goodbye. I know, but we got to get the Hellbore back on. Yes, anything bad that happens here is explicitly because of Cheops. Any performance woes are all his fault.
Scanning the nanite transfer. Done. There's nothing to expect.
That spike sucked.
The nanite probe will repair the transfer. Stop that.
Fire at will, misfire. Gotta love playing Stowe in a team situation.
The probe is closing in on the transfer. Destroy it.
This is just a horrible round, to be honest. Yeah, 1.5 was... My piloting wasn't perfect there. There's just a lot of sloppiness in there. Okay. Okay, chat. Here's the question. How high up on the list? How high up is it? How high is the provoked hostilities trait off of this ship that can go off once every 15 seconds when you hit a control ability, damaging foes within 3 kilometers of the targeted foe? What's this gonna do? What's it gonna be at? Let's see here. Analysis. And moving on, let's give that a go in a Hive Onslaught Elite. Maybe in Hive it'll do a little bit better, but, you know, we'll find out here in just a moment. It was certainly a number. I can't see tiny numbers, I'm old. I can't believe the trait that we didn't expect to do well isn't doing well. I don't know why I just immediately went to change the ship. Okay. Not gonna have every single buff, but let's go right into a Hive Onslaught Elite. Hopefully we got some more big damage dealers in here to make sure I don't need much survivability. Doesn't make it into the top 250 traits with that performance. That was just one infected run, okay? Just one infected run to be clear. But, I mean, just being more serious here. Just the concept of the trait isn't really that good because it's going off on your initial control hit. So let's say I'm hitting a gravity well on a target. When I'm hitting the gravity well, that's to get things grouped up together. Okay? Now, when I hit the gravity well, that is consuming this proc of it if the proc of the trait if I haven't already triggered it. So what that means is when I hit the gravity well to get things grouped up, the trait is now locked out for the next 15 seconds, and I need the gravity well to get things grouped up in order to benefit from the trait. So just the part of the reason that myself and some others were so negative about it is because just the concept of how, you know, they showed it in that initial blog, the execution has flaws. The 15-second lockout effectively kills it. Like, if it was every 5 seconds, it would be a little bit better. I can't say it would, you know, damage-wise that would be enough, but it's just the mere concept and execution of it right now is just pretty much just eliminating its value.
Accept the gift of a
Fire at will, misfire. There we go, chat. Unfortunately, the fire will misfire means I will die. Could it be? No, I mean, the only way this trait could be viable would be on, like, an exotic build. And even then, like, there's so much competition for starship traits now, especially for, like, exotic setups. Like, I would say at this time, I'm not super impressed with any of the accessories from this ship.
Your efforts are futile. Destroy this vessel, and I will claim another.
So
This is not
do I think this ship is worth $200? I think that this ship is good, but, you know, again, if you already have the Legendary Avenger or even the Lexington, like, I just, it's really tough. Like, this on paper, this, you know, is just ever so slightly going to beat out those other options. Like, it's just a slightly power crept Legendary Avenger. The reality is, like, when you get to the buff layout, you're going to set it up basically the exact same as the Legendary Avenger, or probably how you'd have your Lexington. It's not a bad ship. Not a bad ship. But the performance of the trait, let's see what the trait did in here. That wasn't, you know, again, that wasn't the best situation, but you know, I'm showing it in just, you know, actual combat here. So as soon as this loads, where was it? Provoked hostilities. Okay, so that's 2 TFOs back to back where it's done basically like 1 to 1.5K. And that's with 21 attacks. Wow. I mean, it's hitting targets for like 6,000 damage. I just, you know, I'd say someone could do some more testing with that on like an exotic setup, but I think there's too many good traits out there for EPG now. You know, there's for EPG, there's the Dauntless 2, which recently got a major set of buffs to its Starship trait. That's 80% Cat 2 for torpedoes and exotic. Vanguard shield shaping, I think it is. Let me pop it open here. Yeah, so Vanguard shield shaping is off the Dauntless 2, which is also in the same Infinity Lockbox. You've also got the Salvation, which released last year, and I can't remember the name of it straight, but actually no, that's up at the top, isn't it? Etheric. Yeah, Etheric Matter Manipulation. I mean, that's up to 150 EPG drain control. Like, this is an exotic trait at one of the highest price points in the game, and its performance, I mean, just sucks. Like, look, I know I'm not on an exotic build, but just the concept of the trait and the actual performance that I'm seeing here, even just in this limited testing, it sucks. The concept of it, the way it's executed, it's not the 15-second lockout kills it. So the trait is a complete write-off as far as I'm concerned. The console, the fact that it's got a 2-second activation time right after we've given them feedback about activation times is pretty rough. I would say that from a meta perspective, I would not use a box on this over the other things that I could get with an Infinity Lockbox. The ship is good. The ship is good. The ship is legitimately a good platform. A very, very ever so slightly, power crept Legendary Avenger. If you like the Legendary Avenger and you wish it was a crossfield, this is that. But I would say, like, if this was a ship, or if the console was good, I would have went out and picked it up probably with another box that I've got on hand for another character. But I don't plan to put this on my other characters because I don't, based on the testing I've done, the 2-second activation time on the console, the trait being just complete garbage. I've got the ship for this one character to do the testing, and I have no intention to put it on my other characters right now. Is it worth $200? No. Because you can get the Legendary Avenger from the Legendary Battlecruiser bundle for, what is it, $78 during a sale? And that's an account-wide unlock alongside the Legendary Border Is this ship worth it? No. Can I show the spinning animation when transwarping? Yeah, let's... If the console was changed to no activation, it would require a little bit more testing still, because we would have to be giving up another highly desired console in order to fit that onto like an uncon setup. So I'm just not too impressed with the accessories right now. I don't actively have like a full-on EPG setup going here. I don't think, at least. Let me check. No, because my Anoraks would be like full crate. Like it doesn't really matter whether or not I have an EPG setup rolling. We know that no, did I do one on the Grawl? That was Torp. It doesn't matter. The execution, the lockout kills the trait. I'm still shocked that Star Citizen surpassed 1 billion. Can every place on the transwarp list be permanently unlocked? I don't know. I honestly, I just mostly use mission transwarps. I would say at a minimum, you know, the activation time on the console needs to be just eliminated. Um, the lockout period on the trait at 15 seconds is just extremely underwhelming because again, I need to use a control ability to get the enemies grouped up, and by doing that, I am locking myself out of benefiting from that trait again for 15 seconds. Do my red alert? Yeah. By the way, you know, I mentioned this in the news video, but guys, Tholian red alert is so much faster. Like, I know everyone's used to going for the board, but Tholian is really the way to go. What is the oldest piece of gear in the current meta? Fleet deflector, comp engines. What came first? I don't even remember. Was it colony deflector or the competitive reputation? Which was first? Was it competitive? Even a fire will misfire in here. That's lovely. Withering Barrage. Has Twinkling Lights trait been fixed so it can be reapplied on console? I don't know. I mean, you know, for pretty old, I mean, Adaptive Emergency Systems is also pretty old. Does red matter count? Does it? I haven't flown either of those enough in recent times to give you like a specific there, Neo. But I mean, this is a very maneuverable cruiser. The answer to has XYZ been fixed on console is almost always no. I mean, um, yeah, like console's got a bunch of different issues. I mean, the console version of the game is unfortunately very second class. It's a secondary focus. Like you look at, I brought this up and it made people salty, but I mentioned the fact that there's been like a persistent Lobby sale over there for like the last year or two. So it's always funny when they announce a Lobby sale over there because it's like, oh, you guys get a sale, which is actually just your normal pricing effectively. The Guardian console is pretty old, yeah. I mean, that's something I think a lot of console players aren't going to disagree with. That they feel that that's how the console version of STO is treated. I mean, in some ways, yes, you know, stuff is tested on PC before it gets to console, but you know, we've seen things slip through to console still. And Bort said they're 30% of the player base, but bring in a lot of money, and yet they're totally ignored. How's the new ship? The new ship itself is fine. It's a slightly improved Legendary Avenger, just on the crossfield skeleton, basically. If you are wanting an alternative to the Legendary Avenger, you know, that's on a different Federation skeleton, then there you go. But that is really the appeal. The console isn't terrible, but it has a 2-second activation time, which means it's not really going to be something that's fit onto a lot of the really high end builds because we already have too many high activation time clickies on, and plus 20 power is great, but I can't give up another 2 seconds for that. Our console players, the people who use a lot. No, the actual console players, terrible. At least we aren't the Destiny 2 community right now, yeah. Spencer review. It's not ultra meta, so it's trash. Got it. I mean, Nick, the ship is a slightly improved Legendary Avenger that's coming in at lockbox pricing when you can get the Legendary Avenger account wide for $78 during a sale. And that also includes a Legendary Border-Skew, a T6 coupon, and the other fluff. And then for the console, I mean, you know, plus 20 power is cool, but there being a 2-second activation time on it just makes it a bit rough. And then the trait, I mean, the trait is garbage from my testing thus far. At least the visuals are neat. I have all of it unlocked. Neo, I did a bunch of stuff in the Taylor at the start of the stream. I was going through a bunch of different combinations, and I decided to make it, you know, a nice custom configuration here for my needs. Does the immunity? I can go test that. Let's go into a system here. Shran, Shrana, thank you for the Prime sub. Greatly appreciate it. Slightly improved Legendary Avenger the same day they put the Inquiry and Muds on console. Yeah, I mean, that Picard Engineering bundle just sort of... It was bad timing for them. By the time they had that bundle planned, I don't think the team or the people that put that together understood what, like, the 16th bundle and the you know, what the Andorian Kumari's Budding Alliance trait was going to do. The Budding Alliance, like, completely, just utterly annihilated the value of the Sagan and its Starship trait. What is it? Reverberant Shielding, I think. Where you get the RSP when you hit Feedback Pulse and Feedback Pulse when you hit RSP. Like, a Budding Alliance came in and is, like, such an incredibly powerful shield heal and tanking trait that it just nuked. It nuked the appeal of the Sagan. So when they put that together, they were banking on... I would imagine that they were banking on the Sagan having some appeal. Captain Cisco, thank you for the Prime sub 10 months in a row. Greatly appreciate it. Budding Alliance really changed your tank build. It's incredibly powerful. Yeah, I mean, the feedback powers, they nuked them to the ground. I kind of should pick the Kamari for the console, but I'm not sure if it's on the watch. I think their main focus probably is on damage power creep. I don't think it's bad for them to introduce some really powerful survivability power creep into the game, because a lot of people don't have, you know, their endeavors like maxed out. They don't have all the really expensive survivability stuff. Making or giving people easier routes to increase survivability. You know, Budding Alliance does generate more threat for you if you use it, but I mean, if you're going into solo stuff or if you're already getting all the threat, then it doesn't matter. You know, you're going to get that threat anyways, so that's giving you a huge shield boost. You're very intrigued about the dev stream later? Yeah. The dev stream, I believe, is in about an hour. But yeah, the main focus on that is going to be, I believe, like the Q&A for the watch list stuff. Like, I will say this about the Damocles accessories. I was pretty negative about the Orchid stuff initially, though. Having now tested the Orchid, I actually think that the Orchid's accessories are pretty interesting, though they're a bit niche. But the accessories off of the Orchid are much more interesting than what they gave us here at the Damocles. Like, the Damocles accessories, again, that activation time on the console, you're not going to hear this talked about much after today. Unless they change the activation time, you're not going to hear much discussion about this console moving forward. This is a ship that will get some shoutouts as being the best DPS crossfield. One of the better fed ships, but the price point's going to hold it back and not having good accessories on it. Dan, thank you for the bits. You're excited for the Orchid coming to Xbox. The release of the Orchid on PC was a bit rough. I don't the impression. I'm sorry, I got completely distracted. I'm gonna hit OSS for 8 now. Okay. Now I'm gonna hit the console. 10 seconds in here. I'm sorry. Focus. I just lost my focus there. I'll take another look when they add it to a Meds bundle. Yeah. Yeah, it completely stopped the subsystem shutdown. But yeah, the back to the Orchid. I don't think the Orchid did very well on PC. There wasn't many of them I saw flying around. I think that there is value to the accessories on the Orchid. It's just that they're a bit niche. Like the trade-off the Orchid, as I tested in my Saturday stream, it the trade-off the Orchid is like actually pretty good for like doing some damage to a group of enemies that you have pulled up against you or that you're flying up against. Like it's an actually effective eject warp plasma ability that can do over 100k. So it's safe to say it will work on all offlines, yeah. But it's the 2-second activation time that just kills it right now. Like I run a red matter on my main build, and I time it like specifically for like right around the time my OSS is going to shut off, and like there's a few other batteries and options you have for dealing with subsystem offlines, but yeah, I mean it's just let me hop over to my deeps build here for a moment. Where is it? Here we go. Working on all offlines has some PvP implications for the three of us. Yeah, well, I don't really, I don't, at this point, I don't factor in any PvP considerations into my thought process because the PvP community, as far as I'm concerned, is effectively dead at this point. Stowe's balance issues over the years, and just ignoring PvP for so long, just really didn't help it. But the PvP community also did a lot of damage to itself over the years. A lot of infighting there, and just the PvP community just killed off any attempt to bring more life into that community, that part of the game. The PvP community is not dead. It's just so toxic that it's perceived dead. Yeah. Well, I think that there are some in that part of the community that are so pissed off about how things have went that they try to make it as toxic as possible to deter people from getting into it. But yeah, if I look at the escalation override assembly, like where would I put that on like a crate style build? That's a question I've had while playing with this. Is I've already got the credence on the dilithium transporter console here. I've already got that on. That has a 2-second activation time. Now, if I'm going to drop this on here, and I want to do just a quick demo just for all of you to see. Got to wait 30 seconds. Yeah, Bridger, I know. But I just want to demonstrate the issue of having multiple, consoles on a build that are each sitting there with like a 2-second activation time. In fact, let me ramp this up one more. Where is the What is it? Where's that NP console? Do you guys remember what the name of the NP console was? It was it summons in the other ships. Triptych, thank you. I had the first letter right. Yeah, Triptych. 4-man's enhanced induction coil. I really like your description of this trait and how it hinders its own purpose for using it. Yeah. It really does.
The recent conflict at Jupiter Station brought up a number
Yeah,
of
I know,
concerns.
Chiaps. Okay. So I'm going to hit 3 consoles back to back that have a 2-second activation time. And just to demonstrate like how this can be an issue here. So I'm going to start with Dilithium, and then I've got the next one queued, and let's say I try to hit my CSV there. Like, you can only have like one ability queued up at a time after that. So if I was to use these 3 consoles, that's 6 seconds of lockout, basically, of me not being able to start up a firing cycle or activate other abilities. Give me just a moment here. Sorry, I had to take that phone call. But yeah, I mean, yeah, if I was to hit all those consoles back to back, then we're talking about, 6 seconds of me just activating consoles and not doing anything else. Like, and if I'm trying to use multiple of those on a build, especially like a high-end build with Uncon and Bovin, you know, I could feasibly have those consoles up 2, possibly 3 times a minute. And if each time I'm going through and activating them, I'm burning 2 seconds per console, times that by 2 or 3, that can be a sizable amount of time that I'm going in and trying to activate these. Like, you can see there, but that would be a bit of time. I was under the impression the true ISOCON was the 2 seconds we lost along the way. Terrible. Have I just tried doing more deeps when my weapons are up to compensate for the loss? Terrible. Ralph, how's it going? It's a bit of an issue for the super carrier builds, as quite a few of the summon consoles have 2-second activations. Yeah, it just... it's disappointing. Let me get back to the Damocles now. I mean, under 1 second would be ideal. Chiap said the other day if everything was just half a second activation time, life would be much simpler. Yeah, that's true. Jazz, I unfortunately don't have one of these to copy over. And from what I've heard, Tribble has not been updated quite yet, so I don't know if you can even copy one over. Okay. But, keep in mind with Tribble, like, even if you're just copying over 10 keys at a time, you could copy over hundreds of keys, some Infinity Lock boxes, put them into your account bank, get them all grouped together, and rip them open on a character. Get yourself a ship box over there. Do that a couple times, and, at least you'd have a box ready for when they do. get this over there. I still foresee the ship selling decently for the Disco Kit Bash, and how everyone went crazy for the Road Razor. Upside of that is the meta trait, but still, yeah. I think that this ship will sell pretty well because of the being a really good DPS crossfield and also being slightly better than a very slight upgrade over the Legendary Avenger. Let me be clear. Like, if you have the Legendary Avenger, that this still does incredibly well. I hear it helps to turn the let's turn the fans up. I did not notice my GPU temperature. Oops. Yeah. I have another box on hand, but I'm going to save that for the Cavort in like a month. So I currently have no plans to get this for more characters. If the activation time on the console changes, I might have a different opinion, but I don't know. There's a lot of competition for trade slots. Now my GPU hit 50 Celsius or like 56 Celsius, and yeah. I think this will have a decent initial sale, but I don't think it will have anywhere near the staying power of the World Razor. I think the ship's appeal will disappear after a few weeks. Yeah, and keep in mind with the World Razor, it wasn't just the World Razor in the Safe Galaxy lockbox. It was also the fact that the Watchers come from there. You can build any ship into anything these days. Most differences are barely more than quirks, yeah. Okay. Let's get back in. I can do another Infected here. So, Infected, the Conduit Elite, public queue. What temp is it outside? I don't know. It wasn't too bad. I was out a little bit ago. I mean, it's up to 83 now. A little bit warmer than this morning. Oh, it's going to get up to 87 today. Yeah. Nah. I will stay inside. Yeah, this is the Damocles. It has options to have the deflector above or below the ship. So I've got it with the below configuration where the nacelles are up on top, so it looks like a more standard Federation ship. But you've got a ton of customization with this ship. Yeah, Skylar, I went through a bunch of stuff at the beginning in the Taylor. There is a boatload of customization with this. Well, I can tell you that right now my room is 25.3 degrees Celsius. And that my computer is, or my GPU is currently 49 degrees Celsius, and the hotspot is 66 degrees. What is the VRAM at? I thought I had my VRAM temp on there. Deflector looks way too small, yeah. Essentially another ship whose primary value is space value. I mean, yeah, but at least it's got Merrick Worker Intel, which is an S tier combo. But it is just a slight upgrade over the Legendary Avenger, so like if you've already got that, like stats wise, I wouldn't go for this, based on the stats. To me, the reason to really go for this is going to be the Space Barbie. Oof.
Warning, ship is under attack.
Scanning the nanite transporter. Got it. Exomatrix available. The nanite probes can repair the transporters. Stop that.
Core shields failing. Rear shields failing.
There we go. Big deeps. Do I still play World of Warships? I think the last time I played Warships was January. I can pop open my Steam here to check that, but let's take a look at the parse here in the meantime. Put it this way, the Damocles will sell significantly better than the Orchio. The Orchio, I would love to see how many of those actually sold. When I was talking to Nicholas about that not long ago, we were wondering, you know, did they even sell like 100, 200 Orchios? Because, yeah. The Orchid. I screwed up and called it the Orchio in the interview I did with Thomas and Mike for the roadmap. Pretora, is this you here, Pretora? Critical Puncture, is this you? Terrible. 268k, over half your damage basically, or about half your damage from critical puncture. Sora, I see your CSVs up top. I don't see as many attacks with your non CSV, so that's good. Not really any console damage there, though. But look at that. Phaser Beam Array, FAW 3, 820k. Broadside Beam Support off of the Corolla, 493,000 DPS. I'm sure glad that ain't on the watch list. Full broadside off the Corolla, another 247. The Corolla accessory is just casually doing, you know, almost 750k right there. Beautiful. Perfectly balanced. Terran Beam did well. Antimatter Interweave. The Obina console did 111 there. Pretty good. Hellbore did pretty well. I mean, all around, that was 2.6 million. That was pretty good. Orange phaser beams on a disco ship, fake theme player right there. I didn't call this a theme build. I just said phaser. Yeah, beams needed that sort of buff. The dev should be on soon today, so you can ask questions on the ship and the list, yeah? Yeah. Critical Puncture is from the disruptor weapons we got from the Good Day to Die event, the Executor Disruptors. The proc on those, it's displaying the damage numbers when it's not supposed to. So that it just inflates the numbers, because basically when that procs, it insta kills whatever it goes off against, if it's a smaller target. So it just generates a ton of damage. We had to ban it from the uploads because it was getting very obscene at higher performance levels. You expect to see me in chat shilling, representing the deeps? Terrible. That's true, Cheops. Most people don't get that sort of performance from those accessories. Did Cryptic ever fix those Executor Disruptors? No, and I don't know if they honestly... I don't know how much of a priority that is. The community's dealt with it by just banning those from parser uploads. So yeah, because of the broken proc on him where it's registering the damage. Yeah, Praetor. Between the Terran Rep DHC and Klingon, I mean the Terran Rep, but the Klingon, it's the ability for it to insta kill like smaller targets that makes it valuable. I guess if we did ignore the parsing bug, like I would probably run those over like the spiral on my my main deep setup if that bug was fixed. The game should not be balanced around the top 1%, absolutely. And it's important to clarify that every time that there has been balancing attempts that attempt to deal with things that the top 1% are able to push up to extreme levels, that it disproportionately affects the lower performance brackets even more. Because the issue is, let's go back to the example of like the Embassy Plasma consoles. A bunch of people picked those up because they were pretty accessible. It was a pretty easy way for people to come in and get decent performance. And the thing is, at the high end, we were getting boatloads of damage from them. When the devs came in and nerfed those, that, took away a really nice tool that the lower performance tiers were able to benefit from. But for the high-end players, they've got the resources, the capability. Like, we were doing more damage than we were doing with those sorts of setups not long afterwards. You could go in, you could nuke. In fact, it's already been done. You could nuke Uncon and Vovin, and there's still going to be people doing multiple millions of DPS. In fact, the all-time DPS records, those don't even have Uncon or Vovin on there. Because the runs are so damn fast that it's not worth bothering trying to get the consoles back up. Like, you can nuke some of these toys, but the high-end people are still going to be doing high-end DPS. That's never going to change. It's why the focus with regards to performance needs to be on bringing up the floor rather than trying to nerf the ceiling, because there's a lot of people still stuck at like that 5 to 10,000 DPS range that they struggle. They struggle in normal content. They need to be doing things to bring up those players rather than trying to focus on addressing folks like myself, getting really high numbers out of a specific thing, because not many people are getting those sorts of numbers. They need to focus on the floor. Do things to bring up the average player. Should just put feedback pulse on everything, and yeah. 200 to 250k ISA solo means you're on the top 250 to 200 on the DPS scoreboard. We can look at that. League standings. Let's just look at default. Hell yeah, let's go default. Infected advanced. What even is the DPS endgame? It's... that was not what I meant to hit. More. Give me more. Top 3 random items. I mentioned some of this actually to Thomas when I was in one of the interviews with them. One would be to make it so that the default power levels are, what we often are recommending, like max to power, shields minimum, give engines an aux sum. That would be a bit better than what they do where it's just balanced off the bat, because a lot of people forget to change that, or they don't even know. Like, they need to, that's an easy thing that they can do, right off the bat, of just change the default power levels that people have. Because a new person coming in, they're not going to understand that. But, you do see, if they do start to play with power, that they'll focus a bunch on shields, and that's sort of a bad way to go about it, because when you go and focus on shield power, the shield power does nothing, basically. It's I guess, yeah, technically it's giving you some extra shield regen every 6 seconds, but that entire system needs to be readjusted. Every 6 seconds for the shield regen needs to be like, it needs to happen every second. But like the shield regen and what you're getting from shield power just isn't really netting you the return that you would expect. It's a bit of a, I guess the correct terminology is it's sort of a noob trap, because you're investing your power into something that you think is going to help you survive, when the correct play in this game is to go on the offensive to increase your weapon power to do more damage. Like, you have to take the enemy out, and if you're going, trying to put that power into shields, hoping that's going to make it easier for you, in reality it's not. It's doing the opposite. It's a bit of a trap. So that's something they could do. Not giving us, ships that have every weapon type on them, some better, when someone's getting a build on a ship, making it something that's a bit more cohesive, which we've seen on some newer offerings, that'd also be good. I think stuff like that, just aside from just buffing some random items, like there's some underlying systems things that could use some help. I think that's part of the issue, says Dark Eddie over in Discord. A lot of MMOs give emphasis on defense, while still the way it's set up right now requires offense. Yeah. Be careful releasing ships now since they're not fully tested. Could delay. I don't think them delaying ships would change anything on the testing aspect, to be honest. I would just like to see Tribble utilized a bit more in that regard, now that they've got it back up. Yeah. Oh, for regarding the list, yeah. What was I gonna show here? What was I about to look at in with the Damocles here? I forgot. No, they're gonna look into Jeremy popped into my stream chat on Friday, and when the test map came up, the test dummies still aren't there, but Jeremy said he would take a look into it to see if it was something that would be like feasible. If it's something that would take a bunch of work, it ain't gonna happen. But so sorry, I'm just seeing that there's a Stowe email sent out. New to the Infinity Lockbox, red alert. Okay, everything I've already covered. I believe. Another thing too, that I know the DPS stuff, going back to what are things that they could do to increase or just, help people out. I think something that's not made very clear to people is how they're actually performing. And I understand that the main focus of Stowe isn't like DPS chasing, speedrunning, that sort of stuff. I understand that. But I still think it was valuable back in the days to, like, we used to have some TFOs, some content where there would at least be like a scoreboard that would say, here's your damage at the end and stuff like that. I think exposing people to what their damage is, output actually is, would be beneficial in some ways. Especially as they're trying to go into TFO content. That would probably encourage some to seek out ways to improve their build. There is technically a built-in parser. If you're on the builds Discord, in the general chat, we have all of the commands for it actually in there in a pinned message. Cryan had shared these a couple years ago, so I could show you it, but it's a bit rough. So I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna go do an Argala, and then I'm gonna show you guys how this parser works. Yeah, and you don't have to do like millions of DPS. Like, I think, you know, getting up to 100, 200K, like you're doing your fair share at that point. And that is something you can do even at like a fairly budget level. So GCL combat stat init 1. Okay. Now I'm going to do this here and we'll see how this goes. RNG screwed me over here. These ships are so separated. Yeah, we need a UI for this really bad, and it needs to be ported over to the console version once they have a UI sorted out. And it needs to, like, it needs to just be running, like, for the entire map. Like, just passively running all the time.
Looks like our fight got them to notice us.
I just think people need to be exposed to what their performance actually is so that they can understand where they're at and, you know, just that there's room to, you know, improve, like, stuff like that. I think having some, like, really good guides linked in-game, too, for people that are wanting, you know, like, build help. Like, at this point, I know not everyone on the high-end part of the community is necessarily in full agreement with Stow Better, but I think their beginner guides are, like, really, you know, really good. And they just came out with the cadet guides, like, last week, which is, like, a really good write-up, for, like, someone that would just be starting out. Like, I know it's a big wall of text, and that's part of why people aren't big fans of it, but, like, having that sort of write-up there that's high quality, that would be really beneficial for new people coming in. Okay, so I was running the in-game parser in there. You see with Oscar, my reported DPS is 392,694. Now, I gotta disable streamer mode here. We have all of the commands for this pinned over in general chat in the builds Discord. So the 111 here that shows everything, that is currently broken as far as I'm aware. I will copy that and try it here, but when I tried this the other day, it was not working. But I'm going to go /GCL combat stat data. And let's see if that works. No. Okay, so the 111 doesn't work. That's broken. But what about 100? Really? This worked for me the other day. One. Okay, so apparently, did I not actually start it? No, I put in the command. The point is with their, like, built-in parser that they made, it's too finicky. Like, you got all these commands here, and they don't consistently work. But if they could, like, build upon this, build a user interface around it, and just have it so you could turn it on whenever, I think that would just be beneficial. I would say Stow Better, like, is a good written resource for that. On the YouTube front, it's a little hard. I don't have enough good content there yet. That's something I've been doing a lot of just thinking about how to move the channel forward. There's a lot of basic info that I don't think is out there. And there's also an issue, especially in recent times on YouTube, where there's been some channels popping up, some of which are entirely AI generated. Like the audio is all AI as well. Thankfully, they haven't really seen too much attention, but I've seen an influx of AI just slot popping up on YouTube where it's giving some advice that is based on outdated information. Like I'm gonna pull up ChatGPT here. I've shown this stuff before of let me I want to just go in here and I'm going to go to ChatGPT and say, help me set up a phaser fire at will build for my Terran Lexington in Star Trek Online that does maximum damage. There we go. Let's see. What does it say here? It's actually found some stuff this time. It's got the Tilly 2 piece. They found a Reddit post. They lucked out and found a Reddit post with recommendations. Not entirely up to date. Doesn't even mention... but this would be a good example of that, of, you know, when you're looking up this sort of stuff with an AI tool like this, like I'm on ChatGPT, and like this is one of their more premium ones because they gave me a month of their like $20 service for free. So I was like, what the hell, I'll give it a try. But you look at this and it's giving, I mean, there are some things it's picked up from Reddit posts that are good, but it's also like missing some really important recent items. And like when you're seeing people use these sorts of tools, especially on the content creation side, like these tools, I'm going to say the controversial thing of, I think that there are ways that LLMs like this can be useful, but the important thing is you already have to have a good understanding of what you're engaging with them about. That they can be useful as a tool if you already have that background knowledge to make sure that the output is good. And, you know, if someone that doesn't know too much is coming in and looking at this, you know, it's got a bunch of fancy wording, a lot of it looks right, but those of us that understand modern building are seeing that, hey, this is missing some important items, like where's Fleet Power Network Array? You know, stuff like that. Traits, where is, you know, if I'm going maximum performance, you know, I'm probably not doing ETM. I'm probably going to do the Breen trait. It's missing a lot of the newer things. It does mention Type 7, so it knows about the Awani's existence, but it doesn't mention, at least didn't mention up top, the Fleet Power console. Yeah, it's these LLMs, they're a tool, and they can be useful if you already have, you know, the like a good amount of baseline knowledge. But just going in and engaging in a topic that you are not familiar with, they can be a bit rough. It's no different to using AI with everything else. Great as a tool to use in unison with other sources, but don't solely rely on it, like at school when your teacher warned about Wikipedia. Yeah. Yeah, Jerkin, indeed. What do I think of the new ship? I think the new ship, I think the platform is fine, the customization is fine, but the accessories, the console and the trait, I am currently not very impressed with. The trait, I think, is one of the worst I've tested this year. The console, the 2-second activation time on it just really is a bit of a kill. William Terrible. I'm old enough I still remember being told in class I couldn't use a calculator. The trade is bugged. They've already confirmed it. Oh yeah, that was in the patch notes, wasn't it? I'm saying negative things about it, and it is in the patch notes. But no, that's like under the not known issue part. Damage dealt by the Damocles Starship trait now has variance and properly scales to the EPG skill and kinetic damage bonuses. New graphic they used on the social media post, did they? Yeah, they've got some nice pictures here. Yeah, I like the red alert one that they did. The red alert one looked new. Wrath of Tribble's good. The Damocles American Worker Heavy Frigate, I like that. Very fancy. And yeah, the watch list Q&A with Thomas and Jeremy will happen in 15 minutes. Spencer being negative about something. Captain Spicy Pants, yeah, I mean, if, like I said, I think it also depends which you're using. Like, I think if you are going in and, like, I wouldn't say, you know, certainly don't allow AI to write your entire script or anything, but having it take a look at a script and just help you, like, condense some things can sometimes be useful. I don't normally do that, but it's something I was like, I may as well try this with a video or two. Yeah, we're gonna raid. We're gonna raid the Twitch and the YouTube streams for Cryptic when they go live here in like 15-20 minutes. And hopefully they're yeah, they tend to do. I guess they haven't for the past couple, it sounds like, but historically too, when you go to their streams, there's sometimes some giveaways if you're active in the chat. Spencer admits using AI slop in his videos. No. Bad. I was messing around with vidIQ. It's a tool. It's a tool that can go in, look at your channel basically, and a bunch of people use it. They have a paid service where you can have it look at stuff, and it was just interesting to have it go through, look at my channel and point out, you know, these are some things you're doing that are, you know, really good, and these are things you're doing that are really bad. One of the things it did pop up was that my streams, that, you know, the streams, yes, they get a lot of concurrent viewers, but it thinks that the stream VODs being left public is actually a negative. And it suggested to me that on the YouTube side, I should create a playlist for my streams and then unlist them and just have them accessible via that playlist afterwards. I will admit though, this is bad on me, okay, but I did use some AI in the thumbnail today. I will show you what I did. Because the average view count on those, it says is dragging down the channel performance in the algorithm. Basically, for the background on like this thumbnail, I took one of the pictures of the Damocles and I had it cut out the ship, give it a blue glow, and put just a nebula space background behind it. It clutters and takes space for actual videos. Bacon, thank you for stopping by. So yeah, in 10 minutes, the cryptic stream will be gone. Yeah, I know. Minus 10 subs right there. Using it as a Photoshop aid, yeah. Thank God for that arrow. Look, I don't. People like the arrows. What do you want me to say? Like, I could have done that without the arrow. Yeah. Like I just really liked. I thought it looked good. Am I wrong? Does that look good? The red arrow. It's an attention grab. Terrible. How would I know where to look without an arrow? Yeah. The blue. Well, I also had it do a gold one, which you saw on the news video this morning, and yeah, I did try something different with the title and the stuff, as you probably noticed, like this week in Stowe, just trying something different. But yeah, I had to do the gold glow and also like the blue glow. Rune, yep, thank you for stopping by. Okay, I'm going into another infected here. A big red circle around the ship. Yeah, Dan, that's fine. And thank you for the bits. Just go full Triz and have the AI make every single thing in the thumbnail. So speaking of ChatGPT, well, myself, Nick, McStew, Triz, you know, we all play around with some of those thumbnails sometimes, and with the Balance Pass stuff last week, I'm about to. Some of you are going to like this, and some of you are going to absolutely hate it. I just wanted to see what it would pop up with, and was like, that's terrible. We were thinking of having get like a picture of Jeremy, put it in the background, like scheming in the background behind the planet over there. Well, it's to feel the Reddit. You see, the Reddit people, you know, think I'm going to be very sad about any potential changes. That's the worst hammer I've ever seen. I know.
The situation is grim. All attempts to hail the starbase have failed.
It was going to be... So I did like multi titles and thumbnails on that video, and like I had one that was like baiting Reddit people for, you know, the people that are going on about this stuff really hard, and I was like, oh, this will be funny. Yeah, I obviously didn't go with that. I went with one that I made, but it was just something that's like, oh, just have some fun, see what it does, see if it's anything interesting.
Scanning the nanite transformer. God, it's no big that quick.
A little bit of lag here.
The nanite drones to repair the transformers. Stop them.
Blow to the other side, terrible. Yeah, servers were a bit rough on that one. Killed your Reddit account? Look, Reddit wants you to be engaging a lot. They gotta fuel all the AI chatbots that are being trained by your data.
Sensors confirm that the transwarp conduit has been destroyed. However, our scans of the starbase are still being disrupted.
Uh, yeah, let me check. Lag. This is nothing. Yeah, I know. When the Rise event starts up, it's going to be pretty rough. Sora, Agony was 72k. Your fall was down there a little bit. I mean, you are dismissed up there though. Resonant Shock. There you go. There's the engineer right there. Again, all the fire at will. 1,000 Lobby. I don't know what the stats are of the GOM 2, but whatever it is, I will be buying it out day one, and I will yeah. I'll be buying it out day one and playing with it immediately. William, probably. Yeah, terabyte, that's true. Everything on the internet is being scraped and just torted up in all the AI data centers. That's true. Unfortunately, very, very true. Yeah, so I'll play the first day of the event, buy it out for 950 Lobby, and then I'll just keep playing the event to get the lithium. Stream delayed, is it? Okay, well, we'll keep going till they go. Gotta get that dilithium. Look, I've got a lot of Lobby. Not much else to use it on. I mean, if I was to use my Lobby to buy a ship, I'd get 200 million AC. I mean, I could buy contraband with like 200 mil. How much contraband could I buy for 200 mil? Actually, no. Lobby ships are like, let's do 150. And contraband is about 32,000 per unit. So I can buy 4,600 divided by 5, times it by 2,000. That is a good chunk of dilithium right there off the contraband. Yeah, I mean that you're gonna get you'd get more just buying contraband than just buying the event out. But the event's a hell of a lot easier. What do you do with contraband? Every 5 contraband can be converted over to 2,000 dilithium. Oh, the stream started, did it? Maya, how's it going? Did it? Okay. Perfect. Well, everyone, we're going to raid out to the cryptic stream here. So I can spend a day We're gonna raid out. They are. They are going up now, so raid is out for Twitch, and we're gonna get the YouTube rolling here too. So make sure to stay tuned and engage in the chat because they're going to be doing, it's the Q&A for the watch list stuff. So they're going to have Thomas and Jeremy on, and they're going to be, addressing your questions, your comments, all that on the watch list. So, are they not live on YouTube? Yeah, Sora. Let me link Sora's account here quick. So, guys, Sora is trying to get up to, 50 followers on Twitch. Go give Sora a follow quick. Sora's almost there. Okay, the raid is going out on Twitch. Is there not a YouTube stream yet? YouTube, hang on here just a moment. I don't see one. There it is. I just gotta manually grab that. Okay, I can't, they don't have redirect privileges set up for this stream, so I am just going to have to link you guys to it. This is their YouTube stream where the Q&A is going to happen, but if you're over on their Twitch, I believe Twitch is where they would do the giveaways, so, yeah, they just don't have the redirect stuff set up. So if you guys want to hop on over there, give that a go, and if you have any questions, anything, just ask away right there. But that is it for this stream here. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing the Damocles in action. But again, that is it for now, so I will see you guys around.